Hey folks, we are back for another video for the Kasal series, and today I have the pleasure to host Anshu Roy. Hi Anshu.
Hi, Yusuf. Thanks for having me here. A little bit about myself. I've been with Databricks for under a year as senior solutions engineer, and it has been my pleasure to collaborate with Kasal team and finally be a part of the series to, for the next step.
And as you may know, I have a very bad memory, so please can you remind me what we talked about during the first two videos?
Of course, that would be my pleasure. So I think all of you here know about Kasal. If not, maybe just a quick recap. Kasal is basically a Databricks app, right, where you can, in no-code fashion, be able to deploy agents and orchestrate. So it's not just about agents; it's really about delivering use case. So if just to jog your mind a little bit, here is the UI, how it looks like on the framework. On the left hand side, it's really more about configuration, how you configure different tools, and on the right is really just a chatbot where you can get started and you would be able to quickly spin up agents that would be doing tasks for you. Does that jog your memory now, Yusuf?
Yeah, and I do remember that we can deploy the Kasal app straight from the marketplace, or we can do it from the Kasal repo in GitHub.
Yes, so that's actually a very good point. So for really to people to get started super quickly, it's really easy to come to your Databricks environment, go to your marketplace version, search for Kazal. Our team is continuously working for more and more updates, so it's just a one-click install, and it really deploys on your Databricks environment itself. And as you see right now, the instance that I've hosted here is running on my workspace. But there's also another option to if you want to stay updated with the latest features that the Kazal team is working on. There's, of course, the solution is open source. You should be able to install the from directly from the GitHub repository and be able to spin up on your local as well.
Crystal clear. And I think that's what we mentioned during the first video. But what about the second one? I think that's where we introduced like Perplexity and Genie, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, maybe here as well. Like I said, so on the left hand side, it's really about configuring Kazal, how you would like, what kind of tools you would like to play with your agents and tasks. And I think last time what my colleagues would have shown you would really be to go into Kazal and be able to configure a Genie tool, a Perplexity tool. And today we are here to talk about yet more features that Kazal offers you. So today we will be talking about two new features, let's say. So within Kazal, it's a Databricks app, right? And to be able to have one app for each person is not very efficient. So in Kazal today, you are now able to create workspaces. So what essentially that means is you can create new workspaces and be able to collaborate within the same workspace. So right now, if so, this is an app where you see this. I'm working on my workspace, but just for a little bit context, you should be able to add more people to your workspace, be able to collaborate within the same UI. And this is really powerful because you can now be able to configure agents, tools at a global level. So it's really one app on your production server where 2 3 people from your marketing team, or it could be really from the pricing team, can collaborate on one instance.
And can you tell me, like, or tell me more about what we're gonna talk about today?
Yes. So today, what I have in mind for you is a cool user story where you can think of it as a pricing agent, right? A pricing assistant who would be working on to fetch the internal pricing of the company. So in this case, I've taken an example of a toy company, and you can imagine there are different toy companies out there selling different kinds of products. There's a task given to a pricing analyst to be able to define what is the pricing strategy of the company, whether they should increase the prices or decrease the prices. How would typically that happen is, first the analyst would be conducting market research, right? Into market research, going out there to understand the competitors and their prices, and at the same time be able to collate that prices with their internal data, and finally be able to invest a lot of time investigating, analyzing, and then creating a slide deck for your pricing strategy, whether we should be placing higher prices or whether lower prices. Now typically what that would take about a week. I think that's a little bit optimistic, but definitely 2 weeks of time. But with Kazal, what you're able to do is just quickly spin up that with just writing a prompt. So here, if I tell the prompt to create me a plan that positions pricing strategy based on internal and external data. And you see, Kazal will, I mean, of course, there's a lot of typos here, but Kazal would actually start thinking and creating agents and plans automatically. In the interest of time, what I would show you here is while it is spinning up, I've already, done this in the past, and maybe just quickly showing you this would what the agent would spin up, and it would say, okay, typically there would be an internal data analyst fetching internal data. There would be somebody who's really collating data from the market, and then finally be able to connect those dots together. Let's see if this is happening. Let me just execute it once again. Okay, so how I was able to connect to internal and external, and that is the key piece of the information that I want to bring today with Kazal. So in Databricks right now, if you go to your agents section, there's MCP servers available, and with this MCP server, you're also able to connect to Kazal. So what it essentially it means, if I take a look at my DBSQL MCP server, I have already configured in Kazal my MCP server to be able to connect to the DB server. And this is just a click of a button. So you basically configure the URL that you get from your workspace, put in your API keys, which is really your authentication token, and that's it. And once I start querying this data, so here in this particular agent and the task planner, what I'm doing is there are really three different agents, like I said. So one would be really handling the internal data, one would be handling the market data, and then finally be able to create that presentation together. So with the click of a button, you see a new task spins up. It takes a little bit more time. And here, if you see in my past results, I have already been able to get some reports. And here you can see that it gives you the entire details about how my products were placed. So in this case, it says that there is definitely an opportunity for price adjustment. So if you look at I can also show you the data, but essentially it's a toy company, so it's basically having a lot of board games. It's also having traditional toys, electronic toys, and there is positioning where you would be able to increase your prices for a fair competition. And you see here they give you recommendations as well. So all in all, what happened was, initially that would have taken about 2 weeks of time to collate all this data to be able to come up with a strategy. With a click of a button, now Kazal is really delivering results from 2 weeks to just 5 minutes. And behind the scenes, these are really LLM models that are hosted on your Databricks workspace. So you're making the best use of all the tools that's available already in your platform through this intuitive UI. Let's now quick, you are also able to download this result. So here you see that based on different categories, what are the current price trends, and then they give you the recommendation where you should probably be either increasing your prices or decreasing it, or probably spend more time in the volume game. A lot of the time, it's not about just increasing or decreasing the prices, but rather focusing on the sales aspect, where to position your volumes. And I think all of this is really very powerful if you leave it to the hands of the business users. So that pricing analyst does not have to wait now 2 weeks to be able to show it to their leadership, but it's already available in 10 minutes. And in here, maybe also just a quick the new feature that we would be also having a timeline, just to see that how agents and tasks are progressing. So with the timeline, you are able to see really minute by minute what was the task that was conducted. So what is the memory reads, what are the LLM responses, and you're able to see everything. And I think now my crew is completed, so in short term I would be also able to see a new result.
Yes, it's it's backed by the MLflow tracing, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, if you enable the tracing here, also on your configuration, it will actually all your tracing and evaluation would be logged into your Databricks workspace.
That's amazing. That's how you can replace, let's say, the
Uh,
work that you used to do in maybe 2 days or whatever time required to maybe a matter of few minutes.
you would be surprised, it actually takes more than weeks sometimes to compile that information. I just wanted to also highlight the powerfulness of Kazal here. So it's not really just reports, but you can also build fancy slide decks to to collate that information, so that the people spend more time on strategizing and making decisions on the data rather than really nitty gritting and diving deep into collecting information. So Kazal is really powerful when you combine your internal data set through MCP servers and also be able to connect it with the information that influences from the external market data. So that's it.
That was amazing. That was you're sharp. You were like crystal clear. Thank you so much, Anshu, and maybe see you for another Kasal video.
Of course, I would be happy to join, and stay tuned for more Kazal updates. There's a lot going on, and the team is really happy to continue this series.
Thank you, Anshu. Bye bye.
Thank you.
In Lake House. Rise data seas, lake flow, streams the flow. Iceberg and Delta Lake, tables aglow. Unity catalog governs lake base, OLT base strong. Genie text to SQL, Mosaic and KI prolongs. Yusuf and Quick